Welcome back to the channel. ATACMS have been sent to the Ukrainian Armed Forces and they are using them to great effect. What has happened and what does this mean for the future? That's what we're talking about today. My name is Max Villman. I'm a former fighter pilot in the Swedish Air Force, and let's go. So, ATACMS missiles, what are we talking about here? Here you have a picture from Twitter with an MRLS system firing an ATACMS missile. It's quite a big missile, goes in a ballistic trajectory. And the main thing is that it's bigger and has a longer reach than the standard HIMARS and MRLS missiles. I think we all have seen pictures of this system, HIMARS. Here you can see it with the traditional 6 rockets, GPS-guided ones that they have been using to great effect in Ukraine. Very precision-oriented. According to open sources, between 70 and 90 kilometers range from these rockets, and the ATACMS that the Ukraine has got has one between 160 kilometers and 300 kilometers range, so more than double the range of these new missiles that they have received. So ATACMS can be fired from either HIMARS or from MRLS systems. The MRLS is basically the tracked variant of the HIMARS, but another big difference is that MRLS can carry 2 pods, so 2 ATACMS or 12 of the rockets, and HIMARS can only have 1 ATACMS or 6 of the rockets. So MRLS has more firepower basically, but of course a bit slower and more terrain going with the tracks instead. So the first thing that came out when it came to this was a Ukrainian strike on 2 of the Russian airfields. Ukraine with ATACMS can now reach basically the entirety of occupied Ukraine except for the entirety of CRIMEA. So a big increase in reach. And we saw that they struck at 2 helicopter bases in occupied Ukraine, destroying quite a lot of helicopters. We'll take a look at a video how it can look, but in total this is what open source Twitter decides or has confirmed so far. 15 Ka-52 attack helicopters, so very potent helicopters, and 9 transport Mi-8 destroyed. So obviously this is a big loss for Russia that they lost these helicopters, but what was perhaps a bigger challenge is that they will now have to regroup these remove these helicopters to other airfields. In turn, we saw during the offensive start, where Ukraine tried to use mechanized and tracked and untracked vehicles, that these attack helicopters from Russia destroyed a lot of them. And now, if they have to move these helicopters further back from the front, they will have shorter times on station, shorter times where they can do what they want, and therefore their effectiveness will decrease quite a lot. And in this video you can see the aftermath of one of the strikes. These are damaged helicopters. You see helicopters that were burnt out. Here are the small bomblets from the ATACMS missiles. And I should add that the older ATACMS that Ukraine has gotten quite a lot of them. They have 950 of these 600 grams bomblets that are spread over an area approximately 200 meters in diameter. So 200 meters basically destroyed if it's soft targets. So you can see how frequent these strikes have been, and for soft targets like helicopters, air defense systems, etc., it's a big problem, obviously. And if we take a look at another thing from another movie here, another short clip. This is depicting S-400 GBAT system destroyed by ATACMS. And that's the same thing here. Also with these bomblets, you can destroy these very soft targets quite easily. Another thing to note is that because ATACMS are fired in a ballistic trajectory, they come with a quite high angle towards their target, and for any GBAT systems, ground-to-air systems, to intercept them, they need to do that before the submunitions, these 950 bomblets, are let out. Otherwise, there's no effect. And because of the ballistic trajectory, you need your air defense systems quite close to the point of impact, so what you're aiming at. Otherwise, it's too long to shoot. A GBAT missile might not even hit because they're coming down at a high angle of attack with a very high velocity. So this in turn makes that Russia needs to move their GBAT systems even more, and they are stretched thin already because, obviously they need to protect the entire front line, and the front line is very long. So you have a lot of complexity being added to the Russian Russian GBAD defense systems, their attack helicopter systems, and of course logistics as well, because you can target trucks and logistics with these bomblets, of course, as well. Another thing that has happened just before I recorded this video is that Ukraine used ATACMS to even target targets on Crimea. I don't know what Olenivka, what happened there, but 2 ATACMS, according to Russian sources, came through the air defense system here. They used the newer ATACMS and the older one with cluster munitions. So 2 rockets hit Olenivka on the Crimean Peninsula. I don't know exactly what it is, probably a GBAD system or a coastal defense system of some sort. So it's also good to follow pro-Russian sources, because you want to get a good picture of what has happened. And at the same time, they used UAVs or UAVs, surface-based UAVs, to strike different kites. So they using integrated strikes. So this poses another problem for the Russian defending system that they need to take into account. So there's drones, cruise missiles, now ATACMS, and all sorts of things, making it more complex, of course, for the Russian defensive system. Here's another short video of how it can look when a cluster munition. I don't know if this is exactly ATACMS, but if you take cluster munitions, how an aftermath of the strike can look. So basically you have 200 meters area that is basically all engulfed in flames. So unless you have protection like a tank or so on, you are basically, it doesn't load now, basically you are pretty fried when it comes to that. And another thing I want to note is that because of the INF treaty has been left now from both the US and Russia have left the INF treaty. The INF treaty depicted that both these nations would not develop any missiles with a range between 500 and 1500 kilometers. That is because to release and reduce tensions because of the low timing difference between firing and impact from nuclear weapons. So both have left the INF treaty, so we'll probably see a lot more missiles in that range coming out in the coming years. And for HIMARS and MRLS systems, we have the new PRISM missile being developed with a longer range than ATACMS, and they can also fire 2 per pod, so either 2 from HIMARS or 4 from MRLS. A big improvement over ATACMS. We only have 1 per pod. So that is coming pretty soon as well. We will see if the war goes on so long that Ukraine can get this as well. We will see, of course. So that's basically what I wanted to talk a little bit about. ATACMS, I think they will provide Ukraine with a lot of options and also provide a lot of added complexity to Russia, which of course can make the war more favorable for Ukraine. So ATACMS, a new weapon, and I think it will have and has already had a quite big impact on the course of the war. But I will end it here. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please give me a like on the video, helps me with the algorithms. Also share it to someone else who you think might enjoy this short clip. Please subscribe to the channel as well. You have my social media below, and if you want to go to payhip.com, payhip.com/Max Villman, you have a description here, in the description a link as well. You can download a free ebook from me called 5 Mistakes Fighter Pilots Don't Do in Life, things you can learn from my career that I have learned and apply it to your own life, and I think it will be very, very helpful for you. But until next time, as always, fly safe.